Hello everyone, welcome back to Dan's Details. In this video, I'm going to go through a few things. I did get the transmission in. It's a 4L80 transmission. We did a Tin Works Fabrication crossmember that has obviously the tail shaft of the transmission sits on, and it has exhaust cutouts so we can keep the exhaust tucked up nice and tight. Go through a little bit on the Holley Terminator X-Max. I already have the harness laying in the truck. I'll kind of show you that a little bit. And then measured for drive shaft, and just kind of show you the fit and finish. The converter is hooked to the flywheel, and we'll kind of show you how this turned out. I think it turned out extremely well. So under here, wiring harness is laying in, like I said, kind of laid in here. So the Tin Works Fab crossmember, really nice piece, poly mount. And what they have done with this is they have engineered this really well, where you bolt these brackets into the frame, factory holes. You don't have to drill any holes. And then there's multiple holes in this plate, and you adjust your cross member to however long your transmission is. Obviously there's a slot here. We're about center, so I think that sitting extremely well on how this went in. Nice hardware. Really nice welds on this cross member. They have their little logo cut out, which goes on facing forward on the passenger side. So with this being a 4L80, there's a lot of people saying that I've read that the 4L80s will not fit in some circumstances. Some issues people encounter is the trans tunnel is either too narrow or too short, I would say. I did the casting marks on the top of the transmission where the two casts come together. I did grind those a little bit to give myself some room, but obviously you can see nothing's contacting the floor. Up here as you go towards the, get a good camera view, if you go towards the engine, nothing's contacting the firewall. You know, everything fit really well. So the converter is hooked up to the flywheel. There is a cover that goes on this. We're going to wait to put the cover on, and the starter is off of it currently. One thing I did notice after I got the transmission up and mounted where I wanted it, the oil pan, now I was somewhat concerned that it hung down really low. Well, the motor was tipped back. Once you get the transmission up, the oil pan, it hangs just a shade lower than that cross member, but not by much. It's really close. So I can live with that. I think it's going to be just fine. Like I said, so with a little bit of measuring from the pin inside the pinion to the tail shaft of the transmission is 56 inches on the money right now. So we'll do some more final measuring, but at least I know now when I make my custom drive shaft or have it made that we know what kind of length we're looking at when we have this thing made. So later on in the video, we'll kind of go over a little bit with the blower, the wiring for it, the harnesses, the Holley X-Max, and we're getting ready to make the gas pedal, drive-by-wire gas pedal work in this thing. So stay tuned. So as I talked before, blower and the motor. I have this little tube that I've just kind of put on there as a temporary to see where our air box is going to go. So the battery box is going to leave. We're going to get with Jesse at Level 7 Motorsports and get his box that goes on the frame rail with a zero gravity battery to get this out of the truck. We're thinking maybe some sort of fabbed up tube, intake tube, which I've just temporarily made this. Get it on there. Yeah. And maybe even like a Volant late model airbox that's blue and black. The theme that we're going with is everything black. So any of this and any of the bolts, and obviously this is leaving, going with a black Willwood master. So we'll see on that. We also, I've shown before, intercooler is mounted in front of the condenser for the air conditioner, and then we'll get a black radiator as well. With the intercooler and with this blower, we're going to have to go with a circ pump, thinking it's going to go here, circulating pump, and a reservoir, and then the Mighty Mouse catch can. I'm probably going to go ahead and take that off of the motor and mount it maybe up here out of the way somewhere where it's nice and clean. But yeah, the hood clearance with this blower will be just fine. You can kind of see, hood's quite a bit taller. So now that the motor is sitting pretty level, it's not sitting kicked up real bad. Really happy with that. We'll start wiring with the Holly and see where we get. Part of today, what we're going to do is, so this truck's going to be drive-by-wire, the electric gas pedal here. If you look, right down here by my thumb, this thing kicks over. And if we want to utilize the factory style mounting spot, which this is the factory pedal. Obviously the holes don't line up, but we will fix all that. If you look, the offset is totally different than from the factory. So what I'm gonna do today is cut here and cut here, take this out, this little kick over, and where it starts to straighten out, we're gonna weld it here and get this pedal over closer to the brake pedal where it needs to be and off of the trans hump. What it's doing currently in its current configuration is, get this out of the way, is where you would bolt it in. It's wanting to hit right here. And it's too far, it's too long, it sticks down too far. So today, we're gonna fix that. Okay, we're back with the pedal. So the new one, we talked about cutting that kick out off, or the this piece. Really happy with how this turned out. What I did, since there was only one bolt mount on the top of this piece, I went ahead and fabbed up a piece of metal. I welded it on, brought it across here, so we have two mounting points. Make it nice and rigid, matching hardware, and then obviously cut this off, and see it better from over here maybe. Cut that kick out off because it was bringing it over to the trans tunnel too much, and welded it back together, sanded it, painted it, wide open throttle. The transition, the placement of the pedal, I think is spot on, if I have to say so myself. So you can wide open throttle, pedal. You don't have to bring your foot back. Some of these trucks, when you're driving, the pedal placement is odd. Here, you can leave your heel on the floor, gas, brake. You don't have to do this, bring your foot all the way back. All right, that's that.